This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. WFO. Joe Castello here, and we're getting ready for the final Southern Nationals at Atlanta Dragway. That's right. The NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series is back in action this weekend. I'm going to the track, baby. I got my Georgia peanuts. I am ready to go out there and have a good time at Atlanta Dragway. Hopefully you are all as well. And if you are anywhere near that track, that facility for the final time we're doing the Southern Nationals, you need to be there, baby. You need to be there. On this show, we're going to hear from the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart. We're going to do our preview. We're going to preview the race, find out what Alan did this past weekend, talk a little bit about some of the action that went on, and talk about what's going on in the race. And it's one of those where it's a little sad, a little bittersweet, right? Anytime you're going to someplace for the last time, it's a bummer, man. But what do we do with that? We make the most of it, and we have a good time, and that's exactly what we are going to do. So Alan Reinhart, just minutes away. I do want to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to do this show. You know, I like to shout out these names every single show because they genuinely support WFO Radio. Like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, TotalSeal.com. Brand new episodes of Hidden Horsepower up right now. Tony Bischoff getting a lot of rave reviews on that one. The Horsepower King, but it is all an exercise to learn about ring seal. A lot of information goes in there, and just, you know, the roundness and the flatness and everything that has evolved over the years with piston rings have made the product more consistent and able to make more power. It's as simple as that. Go to TotalSeal.com or give them a call. Keith Jones, Lake Speed Jr., the whole team over there, very experienced and very knowledgeable, and we appreciate them. Also, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. The Dragster Adventure is something I talk about. You know, they do lots of stuff. We've seen many people go through the course from, you know, Tony Stewart has been through there, and, Austin Prock and Jordan Vandergriff, and they go on to do great things. But the Dragster Adventure is something that you don't have to have any aspirations other than having a good time. You show up with like the clothes on your back, and then you drive dragsters and have a great day. Go to frankhawley.com, find out more information. They can definitely set something up. They can even do a race if you would like. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Houston, Texas, not far off. We're going to be heading down to Houston, and we'll be seeing Brian Massengill, Linda, and Judson down there at Houston Raceway Park, presented by Pennzoil. And it will be great. But if you're looking for a career, a life career that can never be taken away from you, that works everywhere you go. Machining, machinists, motorsport, EFI, tuning, blockhead, CNC programs. They do it all. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Go to samtech.edu today. Marvin Rodak, RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. I'm drinking a little Rodax coffee. I needed it, man. I need that fire, the Marvin Rodak caffeine. And today I am enjoying it. And it's getting me going, man. This show is brought to you by Rodax. Like literally 817-924-6821. Marvin Rodak down there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Really appreciate Marvin and everybody that supports the show, like the folks at Nitro Fish Racing. And later on in the show, I will tell you how to get a WFO radio face covering for just $10. And yes, the CDC has just said in some cases, in certain situations, face coverings are no longer mandatory outside, et cetera, and so on. You can go to the CDC to find out all that information. It just came across the wire, but I think it's good move. Good news. Progress, right? Progress. We're like inching our way towards normalcy. That is the phrase that we coined here on WFO Radio. But now it's time to bring on the voice of the National Hot Rod Association, Alan Reinhart.
I was sitting at my desk doing some stuff while you were doing the open.
We timed that walk into the shot perfectly. I am going to pull that out of the show. It was absolutely perfect. What's up, AR? How are you?
Oh, just hanging in there, trying to get a few things done around here. It turned back into winter out here in Arizona today, so I'm kind of huddled up inside, and it's way too cold to go outside and try to do anything. So I'm huddled up in the shop.
What's the number?
I think it's only going to be 63 today.
Oh my gosh, Alan!
Yeah, I know. I was worried about black ice this morning on the way in, and I think they closed some of the outlying school districts. It's just, it's not good around here. 63 is like,
Yeah, no, I agree. That's bitter cold to me also, which is why I like our little joke. Florida, Arizona. If it has a 6, that's our joke. Got a lot of people weighing in though. Everybody's excited. Jim's out there, another Jim out there, Jim Hughes and Roger Richards saying afternoon, everybody. We're having a good time there. Golden Valley, Arizona, checking in, 60 degrees. Freezing. Oh my goodness. And every time we make this joke and we laugh, somebody just hates us a little more. You guys.
Yeah, well. It's not my fault they live there.
Right. It's not your fault. And they have things that they like too. Like there's when the hurricane's coming at me, they chuckle. And when you get one of those big haboobs or something, they chuckle. And every place has got its pros and cons.
Yeah, when it's 114 down here, then that's when I hear from the guys in Minnesota that are like, "Oh yeah, we're melting down here. It's 83." And I go, yeah, I get it. Okay, whatever. But anyway, it's indoor day today. I've got an oil leak on my motorcycle. I'm trying to fix stuff.
Yeah, but so Derek says nice background. He loves the chopper, but it's right over the Mustang. You can't have an oil leak. It's like right over that thing. What are you doing?
No, don't worry. I got a rag under it. Like,
oh.
No, I got. Well, yesterday I actually built an adapter for my lift so I could put the bikes on it because I didn't have a way to, even if you got one of those bike jacks, those things are 3 feet tall. That wasn't working for me. So I built an adapter that I could put on my lift so I could pick the thing up. And yesterday when I was working on it, it just got to be, it's getting late. I've had enough today. I'm going to call it. And instead of moving everything everywhere, I just lifted the bike up, put the Mustang underneath. So simple as that. And I've got, everything's like my other bike has a bad battery, I think. And
I got my problem.
The tire was low. And right, first world problems, right? Poor me. My 2 custom choppers. One's got an oil leak, and the other one needs a battery. Poor me.
Exactly. Poor you, Alan. Jason Galvin out there saying, "What's up?" 71 in Bakersfield. Yeah, it's always 71 in Bakersfield. Never rains. Monica, 64 in Pennsylvania. Beautiful day. Let's just keep going with it. 51 in Denver, says Bill. What's up, Bill? Everybody is and it's going to be 84 in Memphis today. How hot is it here in South Florida? I don't even know, man. It's hot. It's hot. The other day, 2 days ago, 94. It's
actually been in the 90s here, so this is a pretty big swing for us. I mean, I think it was 91 or 92 yesterday. So, front came through. We're supposedly going to get a little bit of rain, which for us, this time of year, rain showers are pretty unusual. I am hoping, though, that I get a phone call because my phone went through this 40-minute update.
Oh, really?
I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, part of that update was they fixed the do not disturb that annoys me on a regular basis. So I don't know.
Would you like me to text you?
I did finally get paperwork on this though, and I'm really proud of that too because it's been, since I finished the thing, there was no paperwork. I had to take it down and get it inspected and get a serial number issued and get So I have paperwork for it now. I'm very grateful.
That's awesome. Progress, man. Everybody's making progress on their projects, which is what I love. Just in time for us to go back racing. This is from my GTO, and I too have made some progress on this thing. Like this is something that deserves to be hammered with a hammer, but it's not going to.
I can't tell what it is.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly the point. It bonds to the front of the window and enables the window to slide up and down in a channel. And this is what has been messing me up because one of these tiny little clips there that kind of slides in it, the clip broke and it was all in pieces and it was causing all the problems. Well, I have now, I think, finally located the clips and I've got some ordered and they're on the camel's back, making their way down the Silk Road. And soon I will be able to put this thing back together, hopefully, until I get
Go ahead.
Until I get an email that says, "Oh yeah, that's an outdated part, man. We don't have that anymore."
Yeah, I was just saying, I hope you have better luck than me. I ordered a couple of things the other day that, in stock, ready to ship, ready to go, and ordered it, and they didn't show up and didn't show up and didn't show up. So I called the guy and we did a tracking thing on them, and it shows that they arrived at the Lincoln Park or something, Illinois substation on the 15th, and left the Lincoln Park, Illinois substation on the 26th. And I'm going, what the hell were you guys doing for 11 days?
Exactly.
I mean, and it ain't like I ordered a bus. It just, it's this big. Just send it. But it spent 11 days apparently sitting in some substation in Illinois, and now it's on the way again. So I don't know. We'll see if it shows up or it doesn't show up.
Yeah, I recently ordered some stuff. Talked about it on the Ignition show last night. Got scammed on a GoPro. It's not delivered, all that. So now I have doubts on everything. Will it arrive? Does it exist? Was that website even real? Is that, who knows? But we'll find out soon enough, advancing the ball on all of our projects, which is great. But bottom line, though, we're headed to Atlanta Dragway this weekend for the final Southern National. We talked about this. Have you put any more thought into it? How many last drag races have you been to, Alan, that you knew when you went through the gate, this is the last one of these that I will be doing?
I don't know how many I actually knew when I went through the gate. I was at the last race in Chicago. We didn't know that was going to be the last one. I was at the last national event in Montreal. It wasn't the last race on the track, but the last national event. And at the time, didn't know that was going to be the last one either. I was at the last Englishtown race, and nobody knew at that point it was the last one. So I couldn't tell you how many times I've been to one knowing that we're never coming back. As a matter of fact, I won the AHRA Winter Nationals in 1985, and that was the last race ever held at the old Tucson Dragway. The next day it was closed. But I don't think I knew when we were taking pictures that the place was, we knew that there was challenges and there was legal issues and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think, at least I didn't know, of course, what do I know? I was 21 or 22 years old, and I had just won the race, and I was the king of the world. And I wasn't thinking about legalities. I was just thinking about, hey, give me the trophy and give me the check and let me get the heck out of here. But I've been to a few of them, I guess. I just I couldn't tell you the last time that I went to one that I knew this was going to be the last one, and it'll be kind of strange, no question about it. With all those things, I think this is going to be my 30th trip there, just for nationals. I've been to a few divisionals there and a couple other things as well, but I think it'll be my 30th national. And I was thinking the other day about, and interesting note, I don't know if you saw the entry list or not, but Madison Payne is entered in Alcohol Dragster. Her mother won her only NHRA national event in national drag in an alcohol dragster at that race in 1992.
Wow.
Her dad also won there a couple of times. So, they've got a lot of family history there, and she got one shot at it. So who knows? I think, and me, right? Because it's me. If somebody like Josh Hart can come up and win that thing, I think the first thing I ought to do is call Tony Schumacher and go, "What's your problem, dude? It ain't that tough." It's going to be bittersweet. But there's been so much history there and so much that happened, and at least knowing you're going to go there to say goodbye, I think that's better than like the Englishtown thing. I mean, I completely understand the business decision they made, but it would have been nice for everybody to be able to go one last time and go, remember the time. And like Brian obviously doesn't have nearly the history at that racetrack that I have, but he is diving into the archives so that during the broadcast and during the weekend, he's going to be able to go, hey, Atlanta memories, right? We're never coming back, but this happened in 1985, or this happened in 2012, or this, whatever. And having the opportunity to do that, I think, lessens the blow at least a little bit. It's just nice to be able to say goodbye, I think.
I agree. I went to one, and it was the last drag race at Miami Hollywood Speedway. I got the tree back there and everything, and it was a very
you're just a looter, aren't you?
I was. Well, it was a gift from Dick Moroso, right? Well, exactly. Well, this thing, okay, the real story of this tree is this was...
Hey, Joe, go ahead, take the tree. Yeah, that'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Sure. Thank you, sir. But it was in the bottom of the tower. It wasn't the tree we were using with Krondek, with CompuLink, but it was an old Krondek.
Classic. You were like the guy at the gate with Warren Johnson's door when he was walking out of Atlanta the one year, and the security guy goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, some dude said I could have this." Yeah, let's go check with the guy whose name's on the window.
I heard that story. All right, so I did get the tree totally legally, but that is a funny story. And, there's going to be a track walk this weekend, hopefully everybody, just, inching towards normalcy. It's limited capacity track walk. It's going to be a lot of fun. But you
can't take the tree, just so everybody knows. Okay, let's be right on. You can't do the Joe Castello.
When you throw to me, I was going to have like a hammer and a chisel. What? Now's not the time yet. Oh, okay. But
It will be good to get back though and do a track walk for the first time. I know that you always pay attention when you're not at the events, but we did a parade of champions in Las Vegas last week, and I believe it's the first time we've done that since this whole thing started. It was a little bit different the way we set it up and the way we did it. Kind of keep some social distance and do that. But Jason Galvin down on the starting line had an opportunity to talk to all of the winners, all the guys, and with the number of first-time winners, and it's always kind of a special thing. So we're getting there. It's baby steps, but as Jason Line used to always say, we are directionally correct.
We are direct. Well, and on that note, not that anybody cares about this kind of stuff, and some people hate it, but whatever. I got my second shot yesterday. So now I'm 14 days away from there's nothing else I can do about this. That's it. I've made all my moves. That's all I can do.
I like the guy the other day that said, he got the first shot and then was really, really considering whether he wanted to get the second one. And then the waitress came back by, so he went ahead and got another one.
Absolutely. Well, that's something I look forward to as well. Now, were you at a race this past weekend?
I was not. I was supposed to go to Madison, the Worldwide Technology Raceway, but it's like a what do they call it when white stuff falls out of the sky and it's really cold and windy and it's.
I don't know. They had that in Indiana too last week. K-Mac posted a picture.
They had one of those, so they actually canceled the race before I went, and looked like it was a good decision. I communicated with Blair over the weekend, and he said that we probably could have started Sunday at noon or so. So I think they definitely made the right choice. But no, they plug got pulled on that one before I went. So I had the weekend to be productive. I got a few things done around here. I got, like I said, this won't mean anything to anybody but me, but I'm really jazzed about getting the paperwork on this thing because I actually had a title company here that I've dealt with before that I contacted and said, look, here it is, brand new, fresh built. I mean, doesn't have a serial number, doesn't have nothing. I need to get paperwork for it. And I'd never been through this before. Because oh, well, we got to do this and this and this and this. And then I had another friend of mine came by that buys and sells and trades. And I mean, I do a little bit of stuff. This guy is just over the top. And he said, no, don't be stupid. He goes, take this, go down and get it inspected. Take this, go down and show it to them. Take this, get this. And 2 days later, I had a title. So
wow.
I'm pretty happy about it. But I was able to actually take it out and ride it this weekend. I haven't been able to do anything with it because I don't have any paperwork on it. And, it's even though it's mine, it's, obviously it's, not stolen, but I figured I would run into the one cop in Arizona that would go, yeah, if you can't prove you own that, we're going to impound it. And so I haven't been able to ride it. I've been, getting it running, getting it finished up and doing all that kind of stuff. Now, so I got that done. And I've got this other project in the shop that I've been spending some time on trying to get out of here. So I got made some progress on.
No, that's what it's all about, making progress. And now hopefully we're getting ready to go back racing on a regular basis. One of our commenters, and put your questions in the comment section, folks. This is free-form conversation as we're getting ready for the Southern Nationals. The new tree, this thing happened right after the show last week. I guess I was talking to Tasca on Thursday. Great interview with Bob Tasca. It was great. Like right as I got off, this thing pops up. Boom, there's the photo, Rob, from NHRA.com. Alan, when I saw it, I was like, what am I looking at here? This, of all things, is one of the most common questions, suggestions, comments I get from race fans all the time. It's like, hey, we can't really see when the drivers are staging when we're right next to the starting line. Obviously, when they go, or if you're in Bristol, or if you're in Vegas, where one of the Bruton tracks where they have the extra tree, that's one thing. But I don't know, Alan. I actually really like this. I want to see it in practice. But I think this is going to be very helpful to fans that are right next to the tree on the starting line. What say you?
No, I agree. And I think that's something that, I get my announcer email pretty regularly as well, especially if somebody comes back that hasn't been to the races for a while. I heard it a lot more when the LED stage and pre-stage lights were brand new. And the fact is, if you're sitting near the starting line, you simply can't see the stage and pre-stage lights because they are directionally focused at the driver. They have them on the backside of the tree. So if you're sitting down 400 or 500 feet, you can see it. But if you're sitting along the sides of the tree, you can't. And, for those of us that have been doing this a million years, I can close my eyes and I can tell you within 2 seconds when they're going to launch, because you hear them go on the high side. You know that stuff. But for a casual fan that doesn't, they always relied on being able to see the stage and pre-stage lights. And when they were the amber incandescent bulbs, the old tree, you could see them.
Right.
Even literally, if you were sitting basically, parallel with the tree, you could still see them when they would stage and pre-stage. And with the blues, you couldn't. So I think it's great. I think it may be a little overdue, but I think the fans are going to love it. I think that just the fact that we now have stage and pre-stage lights on the side, so that when you're sitting there, you'll be able to watch stage, pre-stage. Okay, now's the time to plug my ears because here they come. But I think it's great. And I don't know, but I assume that it will not be in use at the 4 wide in Charlotte, because I don't know that they have all 4 stage and pre-stage going off to the side. But with the 4 wide, there's a lot of stuff going on. You're always better to your ears plugged and be ready for it at any time.
Absolutely. And Monica wants to know, like, when is it going to be active? This weekend. The new tree.
What?
Get in on the Southern Nationals fun. The final race will be under the new tree. I think it looks very modern, very video game like, which I like that kind of evolution that takes the sport and makes it look more modern. And I've heard that some people don't like it, but I haven't encountered one of those people. Like everybody in the feed, for instance, everyone generally is saying they like it. Like Dujanet loves the tree. Jay loves the tree. Everybody loves the tree. Jim loves the tree. Everyone loves the tree. Jason loves the tree. Everybody that's commenting that I've talked to, including myself, my natural opinion is love the tree. You say you like the tree, but supposedly there's some people out there that don't like the tree. I don't know who they are. We're going with this tree.
The one thing that concerns me a little bit is, think about it from a racer standpoint, okay? Especially if you're a racer that blinds.
Yes.
Okay, you've got this up so that all you're looking for is that one amber bulb.
Yes.
And at night, especially, I think you're going to see the glow off to the side. So that may be a little bit of an issue, because that looks like there's going to be a whole lot of light coming off that thing in different directions. It's going to be very difficult to block out. So, maybe that'll cause an issue for some of the drivers. But I haven't heard a fan yet say that they didn't like it, and that's what we're doing this for. We're doing this to make the experience better for the fans, especially if you're paying extra for reserve seats and you're up there. In some places, the top eliminator club is in a situation there where they can't see it, and we want to be sure that our fans get all that we can give them, and that means letting them be able to see when they're ready. Since we can't yell "ready, set, go," this way they'll be able to see "ready" and "set," and of course everybody knows when go is.
And for me, I like messaging. Here we are coming out of the pandemic. The idea that they're going to debut something new to make the experience better now, when so many people are still, watching every dime and everything. I think that's a good message to send. No, not only are we back, but we're making changes to make things even better. Like, that's a good message to put out there.
I agree. And I believe that, I don't know, but I can only imagine that, like everybody else, with extra time, able to focus on projects at the shop. I mean, everybody I know that's had something sitting around the shop has been able to do something with it, now. And I think that, I think this has been something that has been in discussion for a while, in the works and planning for a while. And finally, it's like, you know what? We've got some extra time. Let's go ahead and get this put together. Let's go ahead and get this designed, see what we need to do. So I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad we get to see it this weekend.
That's right. Robert says, I remember Keith Mayers won Super Street in 2019. Someone stole his scooter. On the way home, they called him and then they found it. Yeah. Like every once in a while at the winter circle, something like that happens. It's always, that's a bad deal, man. It's a bad deal, man. All right.
I think that, stuff like that happens. What I love is the stuff that, I'll get a message from somebody that, goes, yo, dude, somebody, and this actually happened, want to say Vegas last year. I got a message from one of the alcohol drivers that said, hey, somebody stole our track meter, and, these things cost $800 plus, everybody, I love using this one, right? My torque wrench. I don't want somebody else's ever.
Sure.
And I mean, like, moderately annoyed, like, some slime ball stole it, And so it was kind of fun that I was able to text back to him, Yeah, you put it on somebody's golf cart, and they sent me a message last night that said, "Hey, when somebody comes looking for their track meter, tell them to come get it." They put it in the wrong golf cart, and then
Wow.
it's like, "Oh, oops." And that actually happens with scooters a lot too. It happens with golf carts. That's why mine always said announcer on the front of it, just simply so I know it was mine. And it happens a lot. You guys will get back to the pits and go, "Oh crap, this one's not mine." Now what do we do? And they'll have to go back and try to find the owner. But anyway, as long as Keith got his scooter back, that's the important thing.
You're giving me PTSD. Do you remember at Maple Grove a couple of years ago, Bill? Oh my gosh, he took my golf cart. It's just gone, and now I'm new in the game, and the last thing I want to do is have like the golf cart stolen and misplaced, whatever, and my golf cart is gone. It's like, what's going on? And like hours later, there he is driving around on it. I wanted to get him. I wanted to get him, man, but it's all right. I pulled it together. All right, let's get into some news. So you did mention, Tony Schumacher is going to end not going to be able to win Atlanta. Wow, that was the big story for a long, long time, and it's just that's going to be the track that he never won at.
Yeah, but you know what? If I'm Tony, at this point, I've now won at every track that we race on.
There it is. Talk about spinning.
As of Monday, I have won on every racetrack, and it's all in how you tell the story.
It is all how you tell the story. There's breaking news up there on NHRA.com right now that Leah is going to campaign the Wisps Cheese Crisps Dragster. So good luck, Alan.
That press release yesterday.
Yeah.
Good on her.
Wisps Cheese
Crisps. I think part of that goes to what we were talking about, last week a little bit with the sponsorship stuff, and I don't know how this came together. I don't know who the initial contact was. I don't know any of the inside details, but I do know that Leah spends a lot of time on the phone and on the computer and reaching out and doing things. And, what was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, she went into the season knowing, okay, we've got 18 races sold. And if I want to race all of them, it's up to me to get out there and make it happen. And that's what she does. She's very good at that. She's very personable. B, she's a great personality. You look at her social media stuff. She's got one of the largest followings of social media in motorsports, not just in drag racing. And as far as female athletes, she's way up there as well. And so that gives her a lot of leverage when she contacts somebody and says, "Hey, well, let's just do this. Give it a shot." And I don't know where Wisps is based. I don't know. Maybe their corporate headquarters is somewhere in that vicinity, that part of the world, and that's why they wanted to make a splash. But I don't think there's a whole lot of people out there that are better than her at putting those things together, making those contacts, and making some kind of a deal. Whether it's a one race deal, whether it's an associate thing, whether it's a couple of free races, we'll put you here, we'll put you there. But that's part of, as a driver, that is part of your obligation when you drive a sponsored car. I think it would amaze casual fans to know what Ron Capps' travel schedule is when he's not racing the car, because just the simple fact that every week he's doing something for Napa. And whether he's, doing a sales meeting here or going to do a store appearance there or a grand opening over here or whatever, but almost every week he's got something going for Napa. And it's always funny to me when I see him in the airport on Monday morning after the event. Headed home? Nope. Headed to Boston. What's in Boston? Oh, they're opening a new warehouse, doing some stuff. So that's part of the job. And the people that have and keep sponsorship long term are the people that understand that and the people that put a lot into it. There are a lot of different levels of sponsorship, and the more you can do. Kenny Bernstein's philosophy was always give them more than what they expect, and that's how he was able to keep Budweiser on the side of his car for all of those years until the ownership of the company changed. And I can tell you for a fact that there have been times when guys, corporate people have gone and said, okay, you know what? We've been sponsoring Joe for a while, but we think we're getting more bang for our buck over here. We're doing stuff. And then their salespeople, their staff, their regional managers all go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't do that. You don't know what Joe does. You don't understand how much that. I was actually I think it was Brainerd, Minnesota. I was in the hotel bar one night. I know, hard to believe, right? And I'm sitting there wearing just street clothes. I wasn't wearing anything NHRA. I'd flown in and I'm having a cocktail. Guy comes in, sits down, and the bartender's like, "Oh, hey, how was the deal?" He goes, "Oh man, it was awesome." He goes, "Our driver is the greatest." He says, "He comes over and he sat down with us and he had a beer and he talked to my wife and we took pictures." And he says, "When I met our NASCAR driver, it was, yeah, thanks. But he said, this guy's amazing." He said, it's great. And so at this point, I'm like, and he's talking about Ron Capps.
Ah,
But that kind of thing is what comes back when it's negotiation time, when all of the Napa store owners and all of the people go, we love our drag race driver. And that's, it's just part of the job. And again, Leah is very good at that. There's a reason that Mopar loves her. There's a reason that Pennzoil loves her. And it's because she goes above and beyond when they need something. And it's part of it. And, when you look at the people out there that have long relationships with sponsors, it's because it's more than business. It's because they are able to make connections, go above and beyond, and make it make sense. No matter what the dollars are, you have to make it make sense, and you have to have some kind of a passion for it. And I think that's anyway. I don't know how we got on that subject, but good on West. It'll be great to see him out there.
That's why she's got the ride. Like that's ultimately it.
Absolutely.
But I want to hear you say wisps and crisps over and over again. That's really what I'm interested in.
Well, they're supposed to be pretty healthy too. So, with me on my trimming down kick, I'm looking forward to trying some. I couldn't tell you that I've ever had one, but I guarantee I'm going to go find a bag now.
I think there's a chance I might have some here. I've got something very similar to that. It's just like baked cheese circles, and they're great. They're keto friendly. So get in on it, Alan. All right. We are literally, all over the place today on the show, which is fine. And the commenters, they're fired up too. They're ready to go racing, Alan. It is, but there's a bunch of things happening in Pro Stock Bike. We haven't spent a ton of time Top Fuel. I haven't talked Funny Car, Pro Stock, but a lot of comments and everybody's coming back. For instance, Andrew and Eddie back on Buells, but Joey Gladstone back after his big crash. Like that's going to be, Joey, that was nasty. I didn't see it. I didn't see footage, but I heard about it. I heard about it from several different people that it was nasty, and it's good that Joe, and he's back. He's going to be back on a bike this weekend. So that's going to be nice in Pro Stock Motorcycle to have Eddie and Andrew and Joey.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Joey's coming back as soon as he was. I mean, when you look at, the list of injuries and the things that he had to deal with, I just assumed it would take more time than that before he was ready to come back. I never doubted that he would be back. I just, I'm surprised that he's coming back this quickly. But how often do you see athletes, right? Like the NFL guy that plays with a cast on his arm or whatever. It's like you want to get back. It's what we do. We want to get back to work. We want to do this. So, yeah, it'll be good to see. If I'm not mistaken, there's like 21 or 22 motorcycles in her. So, for everybody that was screaming about the demise of the class 2 weeks ago, yeah, it's fine, and looking forward to it.
It's fine. Exactly. That's
the other thing that's going to be is, for those who don't know, there's no pro qualifying on Friday in Atlanta. So they will have, like last year's schedule, 2 shots on Saturday to make the field, and then we go racing. And with way more bikes than we have spots, that makes it even more exciting for me, and I think more fun for the fans, because if a guy or a gal comes up and messes up on the first run, it's back against the wall time, right? It's not like, don't worry, we have plenty of time for this. And so that really ramps up the qualifying drama. I'm looking forward to it.
No, it's going to be interesting. And I'm glad you said that, Alan. Me not being in the groove of last year, the races that have the 3 versus the races that have the 2, et cetera, and so on. It's something we're going to have to make a point to discuss at each event, at least while we're doing this, because, people are making plans to come to the races, et cetera. But yes, that. And isn't that interesting? Like, okay, there's something different about this race, kind of like the, road courses and short tracks and all of that. There's something different about this one. There's only 2 qualifying sessions, so it's going to be very intense. You got to get it right.
And it should be fun. The vast majority are going to have a Friday night session. If I'm not mistaken, I believe 17 or 18 of the 21 that were on the schedule. But there are a couple that have this configuration, and that really ramps up the qualifying pressure. You want to go out there Saturday morning and just make a clean run, so you're going to. You go out there and you smoke the tires, and it gives the fans a chance to see. Again, there's just some more drama involved. Guys pedaling a car if it rattles on the first qualifying run. You never see that when there's 4 runs.
Right.
You maybe see it when there's 3. When there's 2, you've got to get the thing down there no matter what you do. And so even though they don't have as much opportunity to see all the cars, the opportunity when the cars are on the racetrack, the pressure is definitely ramped up.
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting. Mike Salinas is back. The Salinas are back for this race. I'm looking at the entry list right now for Funny Car. I happen to be on Funny Car. I see Paul Lee is on the entry list. Last time we saw Paul in Gainesville, had a real tough go of it, tore up a lot of stuff. But it's just going to be interesting. As to me, this is I don't, Is it the start of the season? No, we've had a couple of races, but it's the start of consistent running because we're here in, we're doing Georgia, we're doing Charlotte, we're doing Houston, and we're going to get in a groove now. We're going to learn some things that we haven't really gotten to learn just yet. Gainesville kind of won off, Four Wide Vegas kind of won off. Now we're rolling. The season has got a little momentum, I think, after this weekend.
Yeah, I think so too. And Vegas, being the kickoff really, because there was Vegas 1 week off, and that's what we're going to be racing that way for a while. Race every other weekend with a couple of back-to-backs in there, but just getting in the rhythm. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a super gas racer, or if you're a top fuel racer, or if you're a race announcer. Just being able to get out there and get in a rhythm and doing the stuff on a regular basis is going to help everybody. And that's, we've been looking forward to this since March, even though when we went back racing last year, and, for me, especially after the Indy thing, once we got in and out of Indy the first time, felt like, okay, we're going to be able to go ahead and race in Indy. But everything else on the schedule was still a question mark. It's like, will we really be able to go back to Gainesville? Will we really be able to go to Houston? And at this point, it looks like we are going to be able to go run these races. There may still be an adjustment here or there. I don't know. Nobody knows. But I feel a whole lot more comfortable this year. When I look at the schedule and go, okay, I need to buy a plane ticket for this deal, my first question is, do we really? Do I really? My first thing is like, okay, yeah, I believe it's going to happen. Let's make plans and let's go. And the positive attitude, I think everybody's in that mode right now. Well, let's get back to work.
Well, on that note, I want to know what you think about this. Like, we're all cheerleaders for the sport, paid or not, work for NHRA or not. We like drag racing. We're drag racers. We like it. And it's not a thing for everybody, honestly. And that's probably why we like it, because it's not for everybody. It's something different. It's better. It's cooler. It's louder. There's smoke. There's fire, all of that. But I really think that if there's, we always want people to come to the racetrack, and you encounter people. Yeah, 10 years ago I went, I haven't been back. I've been so busy. I got stuff going. This is a year where I think it's very important that if you love drag racing, if this is something you really love, that if it's responsible for you to go to the racetrack, and notwithstanding health issues or whatever, you should come. We always want people to come to the racetrack, but this year in particular, it would be really good to have a nice, show of force, if you will, for people who haven't been back to come and reconnect with the sport this year. Based on what you're saying, like, we feel pretty confident these races are going to happen. We're inching towards normalcy. Things are getting better. We're coming out of it. Who knows how long it will take to be totally beyond it. But if you live near a track or close to a track or thinking about going somewhere, come to an NHRA race this year.
And make your plans soon, because, we are still at limited capacity, to my knowledge, everywhere that we're scheduled to go. So I think what we're looking forward to is sellout after sellout after sellout, even though we're only allowed limited capacity. So if you're thinking that, yeah, that sounds good, I think maybe I will go check out the event in Houston. We'll wait till it gets a little closer and then decide. At that point, it might be too late. When we were driving into the Las Vegas track every day, and this started on Wednesday when I got into town, there's a sign out front that says the event is sold out. So if somebody was going to wait and make kind of a game day decision, I don't know that that's going to be available for you. I would suggest to get your stuff locked down. If you're thinking that, hey, I'm going to do this, then get your tickets locked down early, because I'd hate to see people get locked out. And I think that's what's going to happen, especially in some of the smaller venues. When we get to an Indy, when we get to a Dallas, a Houston that has pretty massive grandstands, we're still going to be limited capacity. But, if you're allowed 50% of 15 or 50% of 40,000, you're selling a lot of tickets. If we get to a smaller one and we're allowed, 35 or 40% of 20,000, then all of a sudden those tickets are going to get sucked up in a hurry. So I think if you're thinking about it, if you're, something that you may be deciding to do later, make the move, because I'd hate to see you decide that, yeah, I'd like to go check that out and then not be able to get tickets.
Right. No, plan it. Like I'm going to NHRA again this year, and I'm going to go to whichever race and plan it and do it and come see us and support the sport and the drivers and the teams and the sponsors. We need it. You need to get momentum again. We had however many years, 70 years, 69 years of momentum prior to this. And now we're coming out of something And if you really love the sport, now's the time to show it. We need you. Come out, represent, and let's get going. People talking pro stock, a lot of cars in pro stock. However many entries on the entry list. Jeff says 20 plus. If that's the case, that's a lot. But here we go again, right? The big battles in pro stock. And it could go in any direction. There's a couple of great stories. We had Erica on last week. She was fantastic. She's on a mission. Again, that team has an edge. Greg Anderson, clearly. But I want to talk Matt Hartford. You know, we talked Total Seal at the start of the show, and Hartford, no testing during preseason testing at all. Shows up at Gainesville, had an aborted run, had a qualified second, I believe, out early. An issue. Similar deal in Vegas. Qualified near the top. They've got a very quick and fast car. The KB Power is working. When they get things smoothed out, right? Since they are maybe a little behind because they didn't do any testing. When they get things smoothed out.
I love you, Matt, but the problem in Vegas was the driver.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
he had the quickest car in the quad. And, you know, but that's part of getting back in the groove. If we get out there and start racing on a regular basis, then everybody gets back in the groove. And, you know, going testing and figuring out your car is one thing, but going testing just so the driver's back in the groove is part of it as well. You know, I remember when we used to run the preseason event in Phoenix, it was not uncommon to go up there and, you know, I always went up and talk to everybody. First time you see them, you know, after the winter break, it's like, yeah, so what are you working on this weekend? Nothing. Just want to get a couple of laps on the crew and want to get, and, you know, we can do this at the shop, but it's just not the same. You know, when we come out and we make a run and we come back and now everything's hot, right? The clutch is melted, did it? And so we just come to make, you know, 2 or 3 runs just to get the crew back in the groove and we're ready to go. And that's just, you know, that's also part of testing. It's just making sure that every little thing, you know, whether it's the driver, whether it's everybody being in sync working on the car, you know, do you want to figure out the best transmission ratio? Absolutely. But do you also want your transmission guy to be in the groove of pulling it out, putting it in, pulling it out, putting it in, you know, and just all of that stuff? It's reps. It's like anything else. It's reps. And if you're doing the reps on a regular basis, it's going to be a smoother process than if you don't do the reps for a while and try to get back into it.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Going to be interesting to watch them. And over these next 3 races, there are 20 pro stockers on the entry list. The other day was Fernando Quadra's birthday, which is kind of cool. I got my eye on those guys. But really, though, it's, you know, still for me, this, you know, the story of the season. I've been saying it over and over again, right? It's Greg versus Erica, right? And everybody else is kind of orbiting around them. That's really the story that I'm telling on WFO. Maybe I'll be wrong and it'll be Christian Quadra who wins the championship and I'll be shocked and look foolish. But to me, the story that I think is awesome is these two. And I asked Erica about it last week and she's up on it. She realizes that Greg has got this renewed focus and he is trying to, you know, get another one before it's all over, whenever that happens to be. And there's a story on Competition Plus, Bobby Bennett doing a great job talking to Greg and talking to Warren about Warren. Is Warren going to be out there? Why didn't Warren come race? Greg saying some things like he'd love to see Warren, the dream thing. When I go to Georgia, I think about this. I think Warren Johnson, of course. But right now, Greg Anderson, Erica Enders, both really at the top of their game, I think. That's going to be fun.
Erica better not do this week what she did last week. Because if she's going to wait till the 3rd run to make a good one, she won't race.
Right.
You know, you remember last week, she was not qualified going into the final session and then basically snuck into the number 13 spot. Once she's in the field, she had a great car on race day, but you can't do that this week. So I would not be the least bit surprised, and I don't know this, maybe she mentioned it to you, if they had gone someplace after Vegas and made some more runs just to figure out, you know, exactly what the issue was. Do we know for sure that it's fixed? Because we can't afford to have that bite us again when we get down to Atlanta. And I guess time will tell on that. But I think, you know, Greg and Erica right now are probably, you know, they're certainly both at the top, but it's not lonely up there. There are a lot of other really good cars and really hungry drivers that are out there shooting for them. And, you know, when you've got the target on your back, you know, people get pumped up for you, you know, whether it's the Quadra brothers or anybody else that's out there right now, especially with all the young guns in the category, you know, wanting to be the one to take her down or take Greg down is driving, you know, the youngsters in the sport. And good, bring it. Let's see it.
Right. Well, like Greg won the first, Erica won the second. So will one of those two win the third race and just keep that trend going, or can someone muscle their way in there? And that's what I'm wondering about. Seeing Pro Mod back as well.
Let me ask you just first thing off the top of your head. Erica pulls into stage. Final round, looks out the window. If it's Greg Anderson, is she more or less nervous than if it's Mason McGahey?
Oh, she's less nervous. And same with Troy Coughlin Jr.
I mean, I really think, I think Mason has proven, he got a little too amped up in the final of the 4 wide. Okay. But he has proven that he, like Erica and like a very select few others, can go up there every time and be 00 something or 12 or 14. And you just can't go up there and relax, even if you think your car's 100 or 2 quicker than his, and that puts extra pressure on. I really think, every time Erica and Greg pull up next to each other, they look over and go, "Oh, you again."
Yeah.
But I really think somebody like Mason, they look over and go, "Uh-oh, it's him." And if you're Mason, keep doing what you're doing. That's exactly what you want, is to try to get inside the helmet of him if you can. And I really look forward to seeing some of his matchups, because he has gotten to the point right now when he pulls up to the starting line. For me, it's like, okay, are you 300s quicker than him? Because if you're late, you're going to be done.
You're done.
And it's just fun to watch. There's just a lot more going on in pro stock right now than just the two that you're talking about. And it's fun to watch. At least it is for me.
No, it absolutely is. And, I don't know that anybody makes Erica nervous, but when the guy who just got into the sport like yesterday is coming out there going 00 left and right, it's got a fast car and not that Mason doesn't care or any of these kids don't care, but they don't even know what they're supposed to care about. Like, that's not what it's about. They're just, living their lives, and they see the yellow and they dump the clutch and they row the gears, and either they win or they lose, and they're having a great time and they're loving it running a pro stock car. And that is a, competitively dangerous situation where you're Erica or Greg and you got all this weight of all this stuff. I'm trying to make history. I got all these guys. It's interesting. Right. You say it all the time. The older you get, the more you got going on up there.
Yeah, you just get plugged up, and your processor gets slower because it's full. And the people that can turn that off are the people that continue to be good. As long as they can stay focused on the task at hand.
Exactly. Pro Mod this weekend, also back out there. We're going to have a whole lot of different categories out there, but going to be interested to see the change with the Pro Charger combination. We're going to get to see it on track, and if they come back to the field a little.
Yeah, and I think, it's not a surprise. I think that, it needed to be done. We've seen it before. When the turbo cars had a huge advantage, they got an adjustment. When the blower cars had an advantage, they got an adjustment. And I don't think anybody was surprised at this. You go look at what happened in preseason testing, what happened in Gainesville, and go, okay, guys, we need to make an adjustment. An adjustment was made. So, who does the best job with the adjustment will be fun to watch. I think, Stevie Fast is going to be one to watch. And not just because he's Stevie Fast, but because he DNQ'd at Gainesville, and he lives about an hour from Atlanta. And so that's two things that are going to bring him in there with a chip on his shoulder. One, he's starting off from behind, and two, it's a home race for him. So, friends, family that are going to be able to be out there, and he obviously wants to put on a good showing at his home event. So I think that he is certainly going to be one to watch for exactly what I just said, those reasons.
And it being the final race, we did a social media piece. I think it was 2019. You know how it all goes. It blurs together, especially with what happened last year. Stevie Fast, home track. He told the whole story. I was standing in the grandstands right there when I decided I want to be a drag racer for the rest of my life. And then either DNQ'd or lost first round in 2019. And it was just like, this is obviously hard. So here, this is the final opportunity. He does have extra motivation.
Yeah, and everybody else got extra motivation to stop him. I assume you mentioned Competition Plus. There's some spy photos of Mod and Al-Balooshi's new car that was put together at Jerry Bickle, and it is a Roots car. So I think that, Balooshi, when you have the wherewithal to do things like that, good on you, right? It's like, okay, we know that there's probably going to be an adjustment here. Will this be quicker? And instead of trying to switch cars, switch the combination back and forth in the same car, which is essentially what they did with the first Pro Charger car. They took a car that was originally a turbo car, made it a Pro Charger car. It's like, look, let's get a car specifically built for this. So if that ends up being the direction we got to go, we don't have to revamp the whole car to do it. So it'll be interesting to see which one he rolls out of the trailer when we get down there. But no, there's going to be there's always a lot of fun stuff going on in the pro mod world. And Atlanta pro mod was born in the South, so anytime we see the pro mods when they're in Atlanta, when they're in Charlotte, in Richmond, that you are getting this is their country, their territory, and they all want to come out and show off.
Good to see Brandon Pez back out on the entry list. Justin Jones, Brandon, after the incident out there at Gainesville, could be interesting to see. Jeff Barker is a Georgia guy. So going to be a lot of fun, like everything top to bottom. We're going to be interested. Let's see, looking at Alcohol Funny Car right now. You can't tell, but a few Alcohol Funny Cars on there. Hey, Dan Pomponio is on the entry list. That is awesome. Just super excited. Really. Yes. Welcome back, Dan. Come on, Dan. Where you been?
Yeah, why wasn't he in Gainesville? I mean, that's his place, right? But no, yeah. There's only one first, and there's only going to be one last. So a few somebodies are going to walk out of there with a trophy that says, Atlanta Dragway for the last time, and it's, I don't know, bittersweet, I guess, but I think that's extra motivation, especially for those who consider that place home or consider Division II that part of their territory.
All right, quick question, related but unrelated. Tony Stewart tweets out Wednesday, 7 p.m. YouTube, picture of him in the dragster. I know you guys occasionally speak. Got any idea what that's? A very well executed tease by Tony Stewart and his social media team. Like, okay, here's Tony in a dragster. Is something's happening? Any idea?
Well, let me just tell you this. When I mentioned on the PA that Tony and Leah had gotten engaged, I wasn't supposed to do that. They didn't want it to be publicly released yet. They were still kind of, passing the word inside their circle of friends. So if I did know, I'm not saying it because I think Tony's okay, but I think I'm still in Leah's doghouse. And so, gee, Joe, I don't know, but I'll be tuned in tomorrow to see.
You lie.
Trying to get out of the doghouse. I think, like I said, I think Tony and I are okay, but I think Leah's still a little annoyed with me. So I'm not gonna do anything to. But I do think that if you watch, I think that you'll be surprised. I think it's a pretty cool thing. They have done a lot with what he has been doing away from his normal comfort zone of sprint cars and stock cars on the social media side. So I think it'll be something cool.
A couple of weeks ago, we started a campaign on the show to get Caps in on that superstar racing deal that he put together. I feel like Caps should be involved, and it's something to get the audience revved up about. So we're going to keep that one going, keep the pressure on. If you want to get in on it, I think Caps can handle himself in one of those dirt cars pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. How about Doug Paletta? I mean, we've got a couple of guys over here that are spending time in the straight line world right now that have plenty of experience when you're working a round wheel instead of a butterfly wheel. So I would love to see drag racing have an involvement over there, if for no other reason, just because I think there's going to be a pretty bright spotlight on that thing, and I would like some of that to reflect onto us.
Absolutely, which is why I'm bringing it up. Any final thoughts, Alan, before we get on out of here and get ready to get headed to Atlanta Dragway for the final Southern Nationals at Atlanta Dragway? I feel like there's going to be another Southern Nationals somewhere down the road. That name is not going anywhere, but obviously this is going to be our final time at Atlanta Dragway.
Yeah, just that, it's like I said, it's going to be bittersweet. It'll be nice to be able to get down there and say goodbye. I've got a couple of friends that I've made in that part of the world, just like hardcore fans that come out that say hi every year that I get a chance to talk to. And it'll be tough, saying goodbye and leaving that place for the last time. But when I drive out of there on Sunday night, I'm going to be taking a whole suitcase full of memories with me that will never go away. So, I don't know. I would like to think that the Atlanta community is big enough and that there's enough support down there that perhaps some point in the future, somebody else will build a drag strip down there. Or, I don't know, maybe, we could do something with where the NASCAR track is, or with, with the Road Atlanta that's down there. I think there are some other racing venues that maybe would look at, okay, now there's an opportunity to expand. I don't know. I know it's going to be the last time we go to Atlanta Dragway. I hope it's not the last time that we go to Atlanta for a drag race.
I agree with that. No, I think it's great. And we'll see. the opportunity to build new tracks, new facilities, the way that the sports world is going, I see opportunities there. Yeah, I know it's expensive, but the way things are going, hey, who knew I would have a Formula One race like in my backyard here in Miami? All kinds of crazy stuff is happening, and drag races, people love it. I feel like we're in a golden era of drag racing. So who knows? Maybe we got a new tree. Maybe we'll get new tracks. And I promise you won't see this one in the background of WFO after the race this weekend.
Well, no, because you'll be like the guy that stole the Rembrandt. It's in my basement, only on special occasions you'll go down there and watch it flash. Woo! But you can't break it out and show the rest of the world, because then they would know where you got it and that it was hot. And, you really are just a pilferer.
Exactly. A pilferer. In the back, like, I got to go find a fence. How do you fence that anyway, right? Like, hey, listen, I got this tree right off the starting line at the NHRA. People would love it. All right, Alan, great job. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on Friday.
Travel safe, Joe. We'll see you in a few days.
There he goes. Thanks, Alan. NHRA's Alan Reinhart with us here on WFO Radio. All right, comments in the comment section. Final comments, thoughts, anything you want to talk about. I saw some things we didn't quite get to. Do want to mention the people who make it possible for me to do this show. Look, I've been a talk radio guy for many years, bracket racer, obviously now drag race announcer. It's all about sponsorship and people who support what you're doing. And samtech.edu has been supporting us for quite a while now because we love what they're doing. I can't wait to get down there and see them in Houston, Texas. Not long from now. It's going to be great. I'm going to be going to Atlanta. I'm going to be going to Charlotte. I'm going to be going to Houston. Who knows after that? But I'm excited to get down to Houston, samtech.edu. If you're a relatively young person, and what do I mean by that? I don't know, less than 30 or less. It's not too late to switch gear, switch direction, become a machinist, motorsport EFI tuner, crew member, aerospace, CNC programmer. They do all of that stuff at samtech.edu. But I will say, based on what I've seen, the students there are, in their 20s and go-getters, which is a great thing. samtech.edu. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Dragster Adventure, frankhawley.com. That's where Tony went. That should tell you all you need to know. Marvin Rodak, Marvin is out there watching. Marvin, what's up, Marvin? How you doing, buddy? Man, I'm loving that, the coffee. And Marvin sent me so much coffee. What I need to do is I need to start like a journal of the coffee, right? Like this one did this and that. The Congo, everybody loves the Congo. Everybody's loving it. It's amazing. You need to get in on it. Call Marvin, 817-924-6821. Tell him to send you what I've got going and enjoy it. Like we'll all do the experience together. Rodax Coffee and Grills.com. Total Seal Piston Rings. Yeah, I think that I'm watching Hartford, honestly. I know I'm making the year about Greg versus Erica, and I really think that is what it's going to end up being. But if there is and it's not a dark horse, but if there is another player, a couple other players, I really think that the Total Seal team, they're down a man, first of all. They don't have KI is not there. CIP1, Chris, who CIP1 is one of our sponsors as well, and one of the sponsors, part owners of the team over there. They're down a man. He lives in Canada. He hasn't been able to come down. So they really haven't had their team like gelled the way they needed to. These first two races, let's call them, opportunities to shake the rust off. I'm going to be watching the Total Seal team. I think that maybe they'll have a breakout year, but you just got these other two, the Greg and the Erica. So it's going to take a big effort to step up. But wouldn't that be something? Like that's where careers are defined. When you do something that is impressive. At the start of the season, the discussion was this. Erica and Greg and all of that, and someone else, whoever it might be, steps up and shocks everybody with a great performance. And maybe it could be the Total Seal team. They gotta do it. They gotta go some rounds. Simple as that. But thanks to Hartford and that team for supporting WFO Radio. Nitro Fish, you can get the 10th anniversary WFO Radio t-shirt on their website. Go get there through our website because I link right to it. Go to the WFO store. We got hats in the WFO store right now, by the way. If you want WFO logo hats, we got them finally. And face coverings, $10. And where's Corey Savoy? Corey just mentioned he's putting up links to the CDC. I told Reinhart about it. He didn't seem to care. I was pretty stoked about it, Corey. I was stoked. CDC says that outdoor, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear masks. Now, if you're at a big event like an NHRA national event, you're still going to have to wear masks because there's a lot of people. But if you're doing something in your hometown, medium size, if you're vaccinated, no mask. Whatever, even if you choose to wear the mask because you love WFO, which is fine, that's not what it's about. It's about progress. We're making progress here, folks. Like, dare I say it, good things are happening. Nobody wants to say, oh, good things are happening, and then have something negative happen and be like dragged back into the negativity. So people are a little leery about getting too positive, right? Curb your enthusiasm because you never know what's right around the corner. Look at what's going on in India. Yikes. Right? But I have repurposed my WFO masks for when I mow the lawn or when I do things like that, just for a little extra protection so I don't breathe in dust, et cetera, and so on. So you can get all that in the WFO store. We appreciate you supporting the sport. And Patreons, it's a VIP listener club. We've been adding and adding and adding. A VIP listener club. They get specialized content. They get to watch the recording session of the Ignition show. If you've heard the Ignition podcast, they get to chime in like they're co-hosts. The Patreons can co-host the show in addition to all the access to our stuff early and all of that. So if you really love WFO, like if you think this is good, go to the website, click on the Patreon link, kick in a little monthly and see what it's all about. All right, final comments. Let's see what everybody says. Okay, so I did get my second vaccination, and I will be very honest with you. I had a little bit of a reaction last night during the Ignition show. Like, it was happening. It was like I felt it, like, oh, man, flu-like symptoms, it doesn't feel good. And this morning I woke up a little feverish, a little achy, not feeling well. And about 2 hours ago, I don't want to say it completely went away. That's not accurate, but it's going away. Going away. I'm able to do the show. This is it. You're seeing me. Am I my normal spry self? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you couldn't tell. Maybe I'm just telling you. I didn't need to, but I'm feeling good. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's what matters the most. Pretty excited. Now, the whole Atlanta, I finished my National Dragster column, and it's all about the last drag race, both at Miami Hollywood Speedway and now at Atlanta Dragway. And the memories that'll be made there, and what it feels like to walk through the gate when you know this is going to be the last time you're going to do this, and the people and our friends and the cars and this whole community we have. It's just so different than anything else out there, and I don't think we really appreciate it. And so that's why I'm going to be a pretty aggressive with, if you like this stuff, then, like, the word responsibility a little bit, right? Like, we need the support now. We, as in drag racing in general, all the tracks, the track operators, the sponsors, the people, this is something. We're coming out of a very tough time. Nothing is guaranteed ever. If you haven't been to a drag race in 10 years and you follow, I reconnected with a friend of mine recently, and he was telling me how he follows NHRA, and he doesn't watch. He only watches the app. He watches live timing on the app, and he's up on everything. He knows the sport. Just looking at the app, watching numbers come up on the app. Hasn't watched the show, doesn't watch NHRA TV, doesn't watch the Fox show, just watches numbers on that live timing app on NHRA.com, which I thought was shocking. But he knows everything that's going on in the sport. That's the way he's able to follow. But come out to the track this year. Do some research. Think about where you want to go. Come out. We've got a track walk this weekend. Here's the deal on the track walk. It's $50. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, that's a little steep, because I thought that. But there's only 250 spots available, and half of them have already been purchased. And they might all be gone right now. And you get a Warren Johnson helmet, and you get a commemorative poster, and you get to participate and be in the starting line Q&A session with the drivers that are going to be in the track walk. And so they've done some good things to sweeten the deal for that. And since it's a very limited thing for the final time, because we are still in a worldwide pandemic, $50 to say that you're at the last track walk ever at Atlanta Dragway, and you'll be out there with your hammer and your chisel. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're going to be racing at Atlanta Dragway for the remainder of the year. Just, this is the final national event. I like Jason Galvin is out there. Jason's like answering people's questions. Way to go, Jason. Let's see. Don Schumacher said that Tony made some runs on Fox TV. So we're going to see the video because they're going to do a great production. I think it's great. I'm excited. We just got to get to Tony about that whole Caps. And I know everybody wants Doug and everybody wants Cruz, and you're muddying the waters, guys. Okay, let's get a drag racer on the team first. And Caps has already agreed he wants to do it. Now, I think Doug wants to do it, but can Doug do it? Caps says he can do it. He wants to do it. He wants to be on the thing. Let's get one thing happening before we get them all happening. But I don't see any reason why all three of those racers, Cruz, Doug, and Caps, can't be part of the superstar racing deal because they're all talented people. Let's see. Jeff, sad to see another track die. Oh, the word die. Oh, so harsh, but yeah. No, it's the worst. It's the worst. But we have to build tracks. Listen, there's people with a lot of money out there. Okay? They've been super successful. And not something that happened by accident. It wasn't gifted to them. They didn't open up a treasure chest and find it and they're sitting on it. They worked hard and they earned it. Okay? We need some of those people to build drag strips, like do something crazy, like build a crazy, amazing, awesome drag strip at your own expense and cultivate it, build something. Like, yes, we need you to do that. Drag racing does. Whether you do it or not, who knows? Let's see. Spence, Atlanta Motor Speedway has been planning a multi-billion-dollar expansion. Just said, well, exactly. Drag racing is extremely healthy. It's extremely healthy. More healthy than many other motorsports. The reason it's extremely healthy, and I did my Fastlane Friday thing this past Friday, it goes hand in hand with the amazing cars that you can buy. And car guys for the next 20 years are going to have countless cars to play with, whether it be all these Challengers and Mustangs and Camaros and everything. And even as the electrics come in, people want to go fast. There's no doubt. There's no changing that. There's no doubt. And there's no changing that. And there's no policy that is going to prevent that from people wanting to go fast and play with their cars and soup up their cars. Like, that's in the DNA of the American. And I don't think it's going anywhere. And we need more tracks. I need a track in Miami. So the person who wants to spend a whole ton of their own money on something, contact me. Let's build a track. Let's do it. Dujanet, what's up? The question is, will you get a new tree? Will I get a new tree? I like my Miami Hollywood tree. I love that thing back there. It was one of the greatest moves I've ever made. I've got a couple of moves that I made. Some of them are questionable in my life, but that move, in the bottom of the tower, there's this tree, and I was wondering who's going to do it. Oh yeah, of course. Go ahead, take it. Yes. And then I sandblasted it and I restored it and it works. And I got to get in there and hit the practice tree. I use it. That's my tree. Now, I wish I could get some LED bulbs. If only Brockmeyer would just hand some over. That would be good. Great show, Joe and Alan, all the way WFO. Thank you, Jay. Way to go, brother. Thank you for supporting. Jay's a Patreon. Great show today. Safe travels to Atlanta. Got upgraded, folks. That's what really matters to me. Already got it. Got upgraded. Woohoo! Get ready. You and Mike Adams, coffee junkies. Absolutely. Well, when you got Marvin Rodak educating you, Brian, and the Dick family, they're big up there in Epping, but they are also down there in the Southwest. But when you have Marvin Rodak, who is like a coffee Sherpa, right? He's a coffee Sherpa. He's like, well, no. And explaining to me like this and that, and this goes with this and this goes with that. It's just an eye opener. And that's why he's been a great sponsor for a long time. And I recommend. I always joke about the garbage that you guys are drinking, Folgers crystals. No offense, Folgers. Folgers can become the title sponsor of the show tomorrow if you want. It's just going to be considerable. But it's not the same. It's not the same. Let's see. Love your show, Alberta, Canada. Thanks, Jerry. You the man. Appreciate you, brother. Looking forward to you calling the race this weekend, Joe, along with Alan and the Loans. Yeah, can't wait to see the Loans. Haven't seen Loans since, I guess, Gainesville for a little while, but we didn't get to hang out a whole lot. Like, it hasn't started yet. Not for me. Is Logan ever going to come back? Don't know. My opinion is yes. Don't know for certain. My opinion is yes. Why? Because Jason Logan is a very talented, positive, wonderful energy, and people love him. And simple as that. but that's the whole inching towards normalcy. Like I wasn't in Vegas. I wasn't in Vegas for obviously pandemic reasons. And we're getting up to speed. Like, what is it? Crawl, walk, run. Okay. Get the leak fixed, Joe. Leak. What leak? What leak are you talking about, Jim? I haven't had a leak. I had a window regulator problem, which, folks, if in fact I have solved my problem, and I went and talked to some of my friends, Bill Stepp, Lee Neal, a couple of great mechanics over there in Fort Lauderdale. This came out of the GTO, right? The window bonds into this, right in this channel. And then these little things slide up and down in a metal rail. And what it does, this is the chronic GTO problem, you folks out there. This is my contribution to the GTO community, the dreaded window problem. This thing from the factory apparently wasn't bonded to the glass very well. And so it comes unbonded from the glass and slides to the bottom. And so now the window is just kind of flopping around inside the door. And because it's flopping around inside the door, it flexes the regulators because it's not on a nice solid rail going up and down. And then the regulators start to flex. And ultimately, there are these plastic clips on the regulators that break. And now you need a regulator. You got a whole problem, right? So I tracked it down to this and this little plastic clip. I hate it like poison. It is my enemy. It is the worst thing in the world. The plastic clip, and I wish I could show you there. This is it. The fate of an amazing rear engine, independent suspension, LS powered, it's a Holden Monaro. GTO rests on this stupid clip. Somebody designed this, man. And when these clips break, your windows fall apart and you have incessant work. So I think I've ordered some, but will they come? That's the question. There's a lot of these old websites that you can order parts that no longer exist. And then they go and it turns out that's out of stock, or we're waiting on a shipment and it'll be here in 2025. Let's see what Corey says. Oh, need a new WFO face cover. Gave mine to a needy crew chief in Vegas. Really? You shared your face covering? Who was it, Corey? Who was it? I'll bring you one, man. You got it. Corey Savoy. I got plenty of face coverings, folks. $10. Plus you get stickers and a patch for $10, and that includes shipping. Do it now. WFO store. See what Jeff says. I hope Pro Stock comes down to 3 or 4 teams. I don't know what I want to see. I just want to see great competition and big personality, because you got to have both. Sounds like a cool deal. Outside of John Force, I think Caps is the biggest NHRA's biggest personality. Whew. Caps did a great interview on the show last week. If you guys didn't hear that, we're going to put out some of the clips here in a little bit. I would call that fair. Yes. In fact, I think Ron Capps is underrated as an NHRA personality. I think Ron Capps is maybe NHRA's most underrated racer personality because of John Force. No offense to John. We love John. John's great. John is a madman and wild, and you don't know what he's going to say, and he's all over the place. Did you see John's interview in the Fox show last week? Like, it was just out of nowhere. The John Force, and you can't look away. You can't look away. But all that, Ron Capps has been just steady the whole time, winning races, winning championships, representing the sport, finishing well in the points, being a great example for people out there, doing the job. I think Capps has star power, and that's why I'm thrilled to have him on the show whenever I can. He's total star power to me. And also, when you go outside of drag racing, which you guys know, I always say it, drag racing is microscopic. We love our sport. We think it's big. It's not for everybody, and that's why we like it. But at the same time, go to your grocery store and ask if, do you know a drag racer? Hi, do you know a drag racer? Do you know what drag racing is? There's a really good chance that the average citizen is going to say no. And there's also a really good chance that they can't name one. And if they can name one, it's probably a classic guy like Snake or Garlitz or Muldowney. And if they name a relatively modern guy, it's John Force. The only person that I think breaks out of that is Ron Capps. because of all his commercials with Michael Waltrip over the years, because of his connection with Chase Elliott and Napa, and they've done such a great job. And I just, I want everybody to get all the credit that they're due all the time, always. But I think Caps is still underrated for what he is and what he does in the sport of drag racing. I want to see him continue to get that position. Let's see. Vegas needs better scoreboards. I don't know. You said that earlier, Mark. I don't know. For 4 wide, it's tough because you got 4 lanes worth, but 2 wide, you're fine. You got everything you need. Spending it, like if I'm going to spend money in Vegas, I don't know if that's what I'm spending the money on. How about that? Then again, I can't think of anything that Vegas really needs. They just spent a ton of money on the track. Jeff Foster does a great job. Like maybe those big super Galat Motorsports Park video scoreboard style thing, maybe. But if we're just spending money frivolously, I'd give the announcers a raise, like bonus for the Vegas race, especially that Nate Hershey. Atlanta, only 6-hour drive from my house. Yeah, Brenwald from Brenwald Media. Exactly. 6 hours. Are you going to, and this is all about, life is about choices. What are you going to be doing this weekend? You're going to be tending to those rabbits, right? Just 6 hours away. The last Southern Nationals at Atlanta Dragway, not just a race, an event, a life event that people will be talking about for the rest of their lives. Remember the last time at Atlanta Dragway when we were at the Southern Nationals for that event, we had this collective experience together. You going to be there or are you going to be watching on TV? Either one is great, but I think it's better to be there. Jeff, easy to get hooked on Rodex coffee. It's great stuff. It absolutely is. Derek, Steve, just ride with Joe. Joe's taking American Airlines from MIA to Atlanta. So, and Derek, Steve is 6 hours north of me. When I go to Gainesville, it's about the same ride that he's going to have to Atlanta. So do it, Steve. That's it. Hey, everybody, should Steve Brenwald go to Atlanta for the final Southern Nationals at Atlanta Dragway? Put it in the comment section. Let's see. Good luck, Madison Payne and Megan Smith on your first race. Very exciting about that. And isn't that the circle of drag racing life? We got a new tree and we got new racers and these new things are debuting at the last race ever at Atlanta Dragway. Who knows? And let me tell you that Maddie Payne, watching her in Super Comp a couple of years ago, all that Mason McGahey stuff applies directly to her. She was 00. She's got the DNA. She's got the family. They, live, breathe racing always. That's the kind of story that could end up with a Wally at the end of the day. The groundwater. Oh, you follow me on Twitter. That's it. I already forgot about that, man. I come home yesterday from my getting my second shot and sorting out this problem to find a massive flood in my front yard. You should follow me on Twitter. The city came out immediately. I hit them up. I made a pretty big stink as fast as I could. And sure enough, they came out. They did this giant, they dug a giant hole. They fixed the pipe and they put it back together within 3 hours. It was very exciting. Very exciting. It was my neighbor's stuff too. It wasn't mine. No worries. It was freshly washed, says Corey. Corey, draft, baby. Dolphins. The draft. Thursday night. The future of the Miami Dolphins. Caps is great, but Clay Millican is a great NHRA personality too. Absolutely. I love Clay. Great NHRA personality and has crossover appeal and has been involved in many television shows, which I love Clay because he's a hustler. And he does a show like this too. Water pouring out of the ground. Yes, I got you, Jim. Got to stick Steve Johnson in there. Honestly, between us, Steve Johnson, when he made the final round out there at the Vegas 4 wide, I know Flying Ryan came on the show and challenged me to a race, which is great. And I'm working on doing what I got to do to beat him. But as they were rolling to the starting line, Scotty Polachek is a great friend too. But I was thinking best story. I always think best story. What's the best story out of this one? And my opinion was Steve Johnson was the best story. They'll get there, though. They got a fast bike, renewed energy. Steve Johnson, another crazy, interesting character. Some people hate him like poison. Some people love him. But that's all kind of in the rearview mirror after what happened with Jock last year and Steve doing such a great job. Like, how can you not, even if you never liked Steve Johnson, how can you not love what he did? And so, yes, I want to see Steve Johnson win a race this year, maybe this weekend. Wouldn't that be great? Next in line to Caps and John Jack Beckman, great historian, personality for NHRA, no doubt. We've got, that's why I do this, people, because everybody's cool. They're all interesting, top to bottom. That's why I bother to go. I've got good stuff going on. I'm going to be doing great things here in South Florida. But when I add it all up, man, I keep coming back because the people are really great. Behind the scenes people, in front of the scenes people, the drivers that everybody knows, the people that nobody knows. This really interesting and amazing. Johnny Moto, who hasn't been out for a while. I miss that guy, man. He's a very interesting character. He was at Woodstock. Like, there's just so many great people. I can't wait. Derek Green, I believe Joe's flying. Good idea, though. Yeah, Steve. Antron is a bundle of personality. No doubt. One of the best. Scoreboards only for Las Vegas and Charlotte. We'd have to sit and look at them, Mark. I don't see what the beef is, honestly. 4-wide track, 4-wide scoreboards. Yeah, but when they run 2-wide, it's fine. Take a friend to a track near you. Yes. Well, that's one. NHRA and I are aligned on many things, but I really hope that there are some plans to capitalize on explosive growth potential over the next 6 months. And one thing, NASCAR, when I worked on NASCAR radio, one of their big initiatives was that NASCAR Day, where regular people were, NASCAR fans were encouraged to wear gear and get out there. And I think we need to be doing that. We need to be doing that, where our fans become a little more aggressive, telling their friends about the sport. The whole person-to-person marketing. Because people just don't know. That's the big problem with drag racing. People just don't know. Yeah, sorry, Brian. You don't get any more. No more for you. Steve rocks. Everybody loves Steve. Hey, Steve, be there or be square, buddy. That's it. Hoping you're the guy that interviews the sportsman winners this weekend. Love that they were interviewed in Vegas and for the 4-wides. Yeah, well, we'll see. I hope so. They were coming up on the stage with Jason. He did a great job. But since we're talking about that, I think it's important to see the car, having witnessed it now. Being able to watch on NHRA.tv affords me another angle. And you see a driver talking about a win, but I think it's important to see the car. Which car was that I was watching? What was he in? What class was he in? What was it? Which one? Oh, yeah, that one, the silver one. I felt like that was pretty important. And the only reason I feel that way is because I watch it on the screen. Screen life is a great challenge. We have so many great personalities in drag racing. Yes. Any word on Route 66 Dragway? Alan said something that I haven't heard confirmed, but I'm going to dig into it more before I go down that road. But Alan was just saying, you heard the show. I wear my NHRA shirts all year round, always represent the best of the best. Exactly. And like, hey man, no, you like it. Come with us. Let me show you this person. Oh, yeah, you like that sports team? This person likes this sports team. Let's go over here. Look at this. Notice this. You got to do it. That's the only way to do it because it's just too much for the average person. The average human mind can't handle drag racing, guys. It's not. You're special for liking the sport. You're special for liking the sport. You need a little bit more. You need the more. I like this whole episode. I've basically just regurgitated my whole NHRA column for National Dragster. Drag racing fans are different. Oh, the green of the grass and the sound of the band when I go to the game. Like, yeah, all right, that's great. But it's not fire coming 6 feet out of a car that's going 300 miles an hour. And you're like, it's not the same. We are different. We need to acknowledge it. We need to find more people like us. The scoreboards are hard to understand when they blink back and forth. Say one, I got you, Mark. I got you. Definitely. Even the racers agree with that. Fortunately, we're doing it one more time this year, and then we won't be doing it anymore. But we'll work on that. Corey, doesn't the scoreboard at ZMAX have the lane number on it? Yes, they need that at Vegas. There you go. We've solved the problem. Corey Savoy, stepping up. Amen. NHRA does not promote enough. Makes no sense. Well, that's not what it is. It's just that activation and promotion cost considerable amount of money. We need to figure out how to do it ourselves. And that's why I started WFO. What do you think this is? What do you think this is? This is the way I'm going to get rich and retire? Maybe retire someday. But no, this is a method to promote the sport of drag racing to more people. Sorry, I tuned in late. And if you ever tune in late again, you will be banned from the show, Facebook user. We let the kids sit in our race car. The fans love it. Yes, but we got to get new fans to the track. That's really the key. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Look at that. I had totally planned on blowing out of here like early. Because, so I had flu-like symptoms starting mid-ignition show last night till about 11:30 this morning because of my second Moderna shot. And now I'm back. Just like that. I'm back, baby. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll feel a little something. Maybe I'm just energized about the show. But I think I'm back. And just like that, in 14 days, man, super excited. There's nothing more that I can do. You're not banned from the show. Tucson Dragway, thankfully, is thriving. They run quite a few events. Maybe one day they'll expand to host a small NHRA event. Yeah, well, they do already, Brian. They've got divisional points races down there. Lucas Oil Series stuff. Almost certain. Well, all right, everybody, that's going to do it. What's the moral of the story? If you're within a day's drive of Atlanta Dragway, come take part in this once-in-a-lifetime event, the final Southern Nationals at Atlanta Dragway. We're going to make it fun. We're going to have a track walk. I'm going to be there. There's going to be great racing. There's going to be great performances. And most importantly, it is how we, as drag racing fans and racers, relaunch and build momentum for the 21 season. And we get out there and we do what we love. That is what it's all about. I'm just special. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. The archive is loaded. Tasca last week. Erica last week. Flying Ryan last week. It was great stuff. We had a whole lot of fun. And we'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio.